Hi everyone, I'm Rosie and this is Flying Flusky.
And we can you and me together. And we can you and me forever.
If you've seen the channel before, then welcome back. It's good to see you. And if you're new, my name's Rosie. I'm 5 foot tall and at the end of my last video, I weighed 130 pounds. I'm filming this week's video on a shiny new Osmo Pocket 3. I sent the old one off for repair, as many of you noticed it was like jittering, vibrating, shaking. And instead of repairing it, I think they just sent me a new one. So hopefully this one is going to be nice and stable. So let's get into it, starting with side effects and how am I feeling. Mood-wise, I would say things are improving. I'm still physically drained. I was talking to someone about it the other day and I said, you know, not the sicky bit of being hungover, but kind of everything else about being hungover when you're just, ugh, you can't get yourself going. It was that vibe. That's kind of how I felt for 2 months. I feel quite positive. So, yeah, mood-wise, good. Fatigue-wise, still a bit rubbish. I got my hair cut the other day because I thought I am losing quite a bit. And maybe having a bit less weight on my hair will help that a tiny bit. I do still have to put it up for work, so I can never just leave it alone. But I feel quite cute. I haven't developed any new symptoms, but I did have one episode of having a bad tummy overnight. Not last night, but the night before, which is why I'm a bit sleepy. But I'll tell you more about that when we get to that week. I wanted to talk about some positives and some negatives that have come out of my Mounjaro journey over the last couple of weeks. So let's start with the bad, get that over and done with. My boobs are shrinking and I'm missing them dearly. It will take a while to adjust to having a new bra size, I think. I mean, I've done it before, but yeah, it is a bit sad when you look down and you can see a lot more of you below the boob shelf than it used to. But let's flip it to the positives. I've had a couple of weird little non-scale victories this week. And the first is that I can get my engagement ring off. So these rings have been stuck on my finger for, yeah, probably 4 years. Now, I'm not saying that I want them to come off in everyday life, but it means that like they haven't been cleaned in 4 years. When we've been traveling, there have been a few places in the world where I thought, maybe I shouldn't be walking around with a diamond on my hand. You know, if someone comes and mugs us or robs us, whatever, and they would like the ring, it's not coming off without them taking the hand. So this led to me one day in a hotel room, like running my hand under the cold tap, trying to put it in ice, doing the trick with the string. And it took, like a good half an hour to get the ring off, and it really hurt. But now, yeah, it takes a tiny bit of effort, but we're there. I mean, obviously, the longer you wear a ring, the more you just get that indent here, and you get a little blob above it to make it harder to take off, which is where I'm still at with this one. So I made this ring in 2010 when we were backpacking in Indonesia. It's a silver ring, which we did a workshop to make. It was like £8 and you got the silver and instructions on how to do it. It was really fun. And I adore it, as wonky as it is, but I can't get this one off still. So there's still work to do in the fat finger department. The next non-scale victory, I can't really show you the example of the thing because it has a lot of personal details on. But I was at work and I was getting my pass checked and the guy was like, I said, oh, it is me. It just, I've lost a bit of weight. He went, you might need to get your picture changed. What? Like that, I didn't think I'd changed that much. Still in the uniform in the picture, but that was kind of nice in a weird way. My final non-scale victory is going back through my clothes and having another big try on. So some of the dresses I tried on before that were fine now look silly. So they've all gone up on Vinted. I've made about £400 selling my old clothes. And there's one dress that I had listed on Vinted from, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And I was really sad to sell it, and it never sold. And it fits me again. So not only have I made some money, but I have reclaimed a few items that I thought were gone forever. But it's nice to know that by selling these things, I can pay for the slightly more expensive jabs. Oh, I guess that's another one. My provider, I'm still on 5 milligrams, so my provider has only actually put it up by like £30, and that's a very manageable cost. I know a lot of people's have gone up a lot more than that, and especially at the higher doses, they've whacked those right up. But it seems like most providers have been quite sensible with the price hike and only put up the lower dose pens a little bit. Obviously, that does leave some people in the lurch still, but I feel like it's a manageable increase, but it does still cost too much to be on maintenance. I'm still intrigued to see what the pills will be like. They're coming out mid-2026, and who knows how long it'll be till we get them here in the UK. But I feel like a low-dose pill would be divine. So in week 19, it was Carl's birthday, and we went out to a couple of bars with some friends. We got a seafood, like, sharing platter thing at a pub on the Thames called the Tattershall Castle. Very overpriced. It had like calamari, prawns, pate, I don't know, sharing fishy things. I jabbed on the Thursday and I had quite strong suppression, and then weirdly the Sunday I could eat a lot, and then back on the Monday it was a struggle. So I had a few bits and then donated the rest to everyone else. I wasn't sure what I was going to do about drinking. There has been kind of a thing where after about a drink and a half, my body has decided that I'm done. So I thought that's how it was going to land. But actually, I had a few drinks. So I had maybe 2 at the pub there, or 1 and a Diet Coke. And then we moved on to another bar and they had margaritas. So I thought I'm going to have a margarita because I'm still slightly obsessed. And then weirdly, someone else got given a free one at the bar. I'm not really sure what happened, but so I got an extra margarita there. So it was like 3 drinks, and I had a little bit of someone else's, so it was 3.5. And then I went back to the bar to try and get some water. I was just trying to get a water, but I was stood at the bar for like a good 10 minutes, and then everyone came over and said they were leaving anyway. So I was trying to be sensible bunny. I had a lot of water when we got home, and then I started the next morning with a lot of electrolytes, but I was definitely feeling like sicky. I guess there's a lot of acid in a margarita, so that probably wasn't a great plan. But it was a good night out. Now, I cannot remember if this is dose 3 or 4 from this pen. I mean, I could go back and watch my own videos, but who wants to watch themselves repeatedly after editing them? So those who are interested, I'm still on my 5 milligrams. Today I'm listening to the Smash soundtrack, which was a musical theatre TV show that was then turned into a musical that I don't think is going to come here because I don't think it did very well on Broadway. It's a shame. The weather's all over the shop today, so I have sunnies on my head and an umbrella in my bag, and I'm going to go and post some parcels from Vinted in a minute. Where are we at? I think we're back about 9 o'clock. Wait, that's 3 o'clock. I don't know which way I'm looking at my tummy clock anymore. I'm going to try and be a big brave girl and stand up to do this with you today. Oh, standing up is way scarier. I don't know why. I've ordered and paid for my next pen, but it hasn't been dispatched yet. So hopefully it will get here by next week, just in case this doesn't work. But with all the stock issues and the price rises and the bulk buying, I don't really know what's going on with Juniper. The week began with me winning a ticket to see one of my favourite podcasters. So I went and got my hair cut, and then there was an annoying amount of time in between getting my hair cut and going to the show. So I just kind of wandered around. I hopped on the tube from Shepherd's Bush to Tottenham Court Road and popped into Primark. I mean, everywhere was so busy that I was never even going to buy anything because I couldn't be bothered to queue to do anything. It was kind of raining. It was like a weird time, and what I should have done is get some food. I'd had a packet of crisps before I went to go and get my hair cut, just to take the edge off. They're Walker's baked, they're not too bad. But yeah, instead of getting some food, I was just kind of bumbling around. And I think because everyone was busy, I didn't want to try and find a table by myself somewhere. Like, I don't mind it on a Tuesday afternoon or whatever when I take myself a dim sum, but it just felt slightly crazy. So I went and saw the show, had one drink during the show, and then I was walking home and it was probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I thought, oh my God, I am starving. So I popped into a Korean supermarket and picked out an exciting packet of ramen, came home, added some crab sticks and some prawn gyoza for lots of protein, and had a little rubbish, cheap version of an Asian meal, I guess. Not great to go carb-led with the ramen noodles and to eat so late in the evening. It was probably 10:30 by the time I finished eating, but it was really delicious. And the spicy noodles were just what I needed. Obviously, the next day I was back on my Gusto meals, which lots more protein, fiber, and veggies. So, one little cheat day. And actually, it was still quite low in calories. So, does it count as a cheat day? Then 2 days ago, I went to my work summer barbecue. I arrived and normally they give you 2 drinks tickets. This year they were giving out 4. So I donated one to someone else. And then my friend said, oh, let's combine our tickets and get a bottle of Prosecco. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just give you 1 ticket and I'll have 1 glass. Obviously, that's not how it happened in the end. And I gave her some more tickets and I managed to blag some more tickets. So I think over the evening I had 4 or 5 drinks, which is more than I intended. In terms of food, I just wasn't feeling hungry. I'd had a protein yogurt before I left. This is going to sound mad, but like these protein yogurts, they're like that big. They don't look big, but they're hard going. I guess it's because it's full of protein powder as well. I feel really full after one of those. I always chuck in some fruit of some description as well, so I guess that helps. But yeah, so I was quite full by the time I left the house to go to the barbecue. Queued up for food, and I thought, okay, we're going protein focused. So I asked for a burger, and I skipped the bun, and a chicken skewer. I ate the burger. It was really greasy, and I thought, you know what? I haven't had a burger in a long time. It's pure protein. It's just beef. I'm going to be absolutely fine. But it was really greasy and it was a mistake. I also had a bite of the chicken skewer, but it was so dry. My friend was talking and I took the bite and I was just chewing for like the whole story she was telling. So I put that in my bag and took it home for Carl to make a sandwich out of the chicken slathered in mayonnaise. Waste not, want not. So this burger, I woke up at 3 a.m. confused as to why my eyes had just popped open. And then my tummy went, and I had about 10 seconds to get to the bathroom, and had a bit of a bad tummy. And then I was up for maybe 3 hours and it had a bad tummy a couple more times. It makes me feel better in a weird way about being paranoid about it at the balloon festival. If I'd eaten a burger and then had 10 seconds notice while up in a hot air balloon, not that it happened anyway, but you know what I mean, that would have been really bad. So note to self, if something looks greasy, just leave it. I don't have long because I've got to go to work, so I've got to get changed. So I'm going to whiz through this. But today is Golden Dose. And you know what that means. My torture instrument is back. as ever, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I've got my next pen ready. Ready? So today I am listening to a YouTube video all about Bali because we are going in 10 days, 11 days, and I haven't actually booked anything yet, which is very unlike me. Okay, I think we might be good. Again, it always feels real spongy. There we go. Yeah, we're good. It's going. Okay. I mean, especially with the price hikes, we've got to get every drop we can get, right? Apparently, okay, come on. Apparently, they are going to try and redesign the pens so that you can't do the golden dose so easily. I mean, they're making money fine. So that's it, an empty pen. And this will go straight in the bin as is. Obviously, the needle went in my sharps box. And next week is a new pen. Still on 5 milligrams. Still don't know if that's a bad plan or not. Well, guess I won't know either way. So I'm just going to keep rolling on, I guess. If you've made it this far into the video, I'd really appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and ding the bell. Let's do some 5-month or week 20 progress reports. I guess the further you go into this, the more the weeks and the months just don't align, but let's not worry too much about that. So I'll pop up my first pictures, and then to compare last month and this month's, I'll put those here. Then we have our measurements. And let's be real, I don't really ever know what I'm looking for on this other than some lower numbers. But it's still nice to see, and I know there are some of you out there that are all about the stats. So here they are. I know some people measure around their bust, but I decided not to because it would make me sad if those numbers went down, even though they undoubtedly are. But losing around my tummy and my waist is kind of a joy. There is a weird thing. I thought that losing weight around my neck would really help with the lines that I'm developing. And then I was listening to a podcast the other day and they said, well, we're all getting tech neck. What is tech neck? It's because we are all looking down at our phones the whole time, down at the keyboard, down at the whatever. We're all getting wrinkly necks because we spend so much more of our life looking down than previous generations. I guess you have to look at the floor when you're walking to make sure you're not stepping in anything nasty. We're going to have tech neck. We're going to have awful back problems when we're older. We've all got this iPhone dent in our fingers now. It's going to be so strange watching our generation grow into old people with a whole new selection of problems. But anyway, I've bought some cream to try and fix my neck, and that's not really to do with measurements, so blah, 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 blah. Let's move on. Over the last 3 weeks, I have only lost £1 a week, and I thought that that was probably the new normal. I thought, as long as I'm slowing and not slowing into a plateau, that's fine. I started watching videos out how to break weight loss plateaus, but it seems that things have just sorted themselves out. I don't know if it's because I was getting smaller and so my metabolic rate was shifting, or whether my body was like, no, I don't want a new set point, and now it's kind of accepted that that's what's happening. I'm not sure. Either way, let's look at the weigh-in. Just as a reminder, at the end of the last video, I weighed in at 130 pounds. And at the end of week 19, I weighed in at 128 pounds, which is 9 stone 2 or 58 kilograms. A £2 loss is pretty nice. It's like the good old days. This is an exciting milestone for me because it means I've lost over 50 quid. Now, I know we don't work in pounds in the UK, really, but that means that I had lost 51 pounds, and that feels pretty special. I lost 50 pounds on Mounjaro. Then at the end of week 20, probably assisted by having a bad tummy and a haircut, I weighed in at 125 pounds, which is 8 stone 13 or 56.7 kilograms. That means I've hit another massive milestone. Not just that I've slipped a tiny bit into the 8 stone bracket, but because I have done that, I have just tipped into a healthy BMI. Now, I know BMI is not the be all and end all. It was some guy in the 50s studying 6 white guys who decided a BMI, but it's all I've got. I'm going to cling on to this win. I'm so happy to be a healthy weight. Obviously, it is the very tip top of healthy, and one big meal could throw me back into overweight, but I'm very happy. What I'm actually really aiming at is the chub rub thing. I know I've talked about it on here before. We're going on holiday in 10 days, going to Bali, and I was really hoping to be done with my thighs causing pain. The chub rub, I thought, I'm nearly at a healthy weight. Surely I'm there. But yesterday my tights malfunctioned at work and the chub rub was real. So yes, I have chub rub shorts to go under my dresses and my skirts, and I can pack them to take to Bali, and that's not a problem. But I was just hoping for, those days at the beach where you pop to a bar or you're at the swimming pool and you're walking around to go to the bathroom or a water park, or we might be doing a boat trip. Just times when you want to be in your swimwear and like a cute cover up or something, and you don't want to be wearing what are clearly like underwear chub rub shorts over the top, or you don't want to just have a soggy bum. You just want to be effortlessly in your one layer. I was really hoping that that was going to be this trip. It's fine, it will be the next trip, but it really solidified that as my goal, weirdly. And speaking of Bali, I'm not really sure what I'm doing with videos now. So this time in 2 weeks when I would be recording, we'll be away. So I'm wondering, do I make a quick video next week just with a weigh-in and a check-in and then nothing until I'm back? Or should I make a video while we're in Bali about traveling with the Mounjaro and like what I've been eating and doing while I'm there to kind of try and stay on plan, or both? The other thing I was thinking of doing maybe next week is just having a little on-camera chat with Carl, who you've heard a lot about, asking him how it's been for him being my husband as I've been going through this journey. Let me know. I will acquiesce to your request. I don't really know if I need to do specific goals then, because I've got like 10 days and then we're away and everything goes a little bit haywire when you travel. I guess I'm just going to set a general one for the next 3 weeks to try and remain as active as possible. I'll be hoofing around a backpack a lot when we're away, so that's a little bit of strength training. Probably doesn't count. I think eating healthily in Bali will be quite easy actually. They do use a lot of vegetables, and especially in your trendy cafes, like smoothie bowls are just fruit as far as the eye can see. There's also chicken galore. So protein goals I don't think will be an issue. What I have been thinking about is maybe split dosing. Somebody said just kind of tired wise and hair loss wise, they felt much better if they split their dose over 2 jabs over the week. So having just done the golden dose, obviously I couldn't do that this week because I'm not messing about with the pen and then trying to work out what half of a dose and stuff is. No, like it's already naughty enough. But starting next Thursday, I'm considering taking 2.5 and then maybe on the Monday taking another 2.5 just to see how it makes me feel. And that gives me 1 week to kind of explore it before we go away. And if it does make me feel better, then I'll roll with that. And if it makes me feel like a hungry, crazy person, then I'll rethink it. I'd like to finish up by apologizing again for taking a while to reply to your comments. I am reading them. Like I said, I am just struggling a little bit with motivation physically, and there's something, I have a bit of a mental block on it. But I do read them and I do care, and hopefully I've replied to everyone now. So please keep them coming in, because it's really nice to know that you're out there and that you're watching. I think that is all she wrote. So thanks again for watching, and whatever you're up to, keep up the good work. Bye.